Good Thursday, everyone. King 5 meteorologist Adam Claybon here with an update on the storm that's already beginning to move on in here this afternoon. Rain falling in some spots, heavier winds. Those will pick up later this evening, and definitely as we go on into the night. We have quite a bit of watches and advisories to go over, and we're going to be talking about a few main things. Definitely about the heavy rain and also about the stronger winds we're expecting, but also how timing of mountain snow could have an impact on some of your travel. So because of that, we do have a first alert weather event that we have gone ahead and issued, and this has been for the timing of 4 p.m. today, and we're expecting that to last all the way through the day tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be more of our first alert weather day. This evening is when we start our event, and we're expecting throughout that time to have heavy rain, some gusty winds, and also some localized urban and river flooding with some spotty power outages to go along with that too. Some leaves still coming off of the trees, so those getting caught up in the drainage systems, the gutters, could create some of that urban flooding here as we go over the next day or so. Let's switch on over and show you what's happening here with what's happening currently right now. We can look live at our camera up in Bellingham, and skies actually cloudy, not a whole lot of rain really falling there as of right now, maybe a few spotty sprinkles, but that's just about it. As I switch on over to the Everett camera, you can see rain coming down a little more over into these parts, and then out at SeaTac Airport we can also see the rain that's coming down here to the early part of the afternoon, about 1 p.m. But I did want to circle back around, show you what's happening over in Tacoma, because Tacoma is showing some rain as well there, and it's as you go south of Tacoma around Olympia that we'll start to notice some heavier rain in places there because of the lack of blocking from the Olympic Mountains. We're going to talk about that here soon. And then out along the coast, where we do expect to see some pretty major impacts from the storm that's coming on in. That's going to bring in some of the higher winds, and also we'll see some of the heavier rain out this way too. There is Westport, and you can see Westport right now, cloudy, gloomy, the rain beginning to head on in. The waves not crashing too hard on the jetties there. Still awaiting some of the stronger winds here until we head on into the evening. So let's go through this. Atmospheric river, you've probably heard us use the term. You've probably heard it recently too with this system coming on in. What's going on? Well, we have this pipeline of moisture, really just this highly concentrated area of moisture in the atmosphere that is heading towards us. And with that being the case, the precipitation that's going to fall, we'll be able to tap into that, and that's what's going to give us some of the heavier rain in a few spots. So that'll be around throughout late this afternoon, tonight, and into the day tomorrow. You can see 2 o'clock, 2:30, we're seeing that beginning to head right around and maybe just south of us, and that will continue to head south later on tomorrow evening, and that will take a lot of the heavier widespread precipitation out of the region as we head into that time, especially once we go on into Saturday and Sunday. Still going to be some showers around after that point, but not going to be quite as widespread and concentrated with as far as some of the deep moisture and the really heavy rain at that point. Here's satellite and radar picture. We were talking about the rain beginning to move on in. We're looking outside of our studio right now. You can see some showers on some of the vehicles here. They're using their windshield wipers. That's being indicated right there on the satellite and radar picture. Snow up across now. It looks like the Olympics, the Cascades, beginning to see some of that too, heading on into the area, and then rain out along the coast. Now we're going to see some changes with that as snow levels start to spike here later tonight, but there's that pipeline of moisture again, that atmospheric river with the bright band of clouds that are over the Pacific. That's still heading our way and still going to be bringing in all the heavier rain. So we're kind of just at the beginning of this event. Flood watch, that's going to start up later tonight for Mason County at 11 p.m., last until 5 p.m. on Saturday. We also have flood watches out for more of Snohomish and King counties. That will start up later tonight at 11 p.m. and last until 5 p.m. This is where we could see some of the heavier rain producing maybe some of that river or urban flooding, especially some river flooding. We will probably see some of those move above flood stage. And then also something we're going to keep an eye out for will be some possible debris flows. Again, that's a small chance, but something that we're keeping an eye on because of the burn scars here that we have and because of some of those recent fire burns that we've had. And then we have a winter weather advisory farther north. Now, a little bit of a change with this. Yesterday we had a winter weather watch out, or a winter storm watch out, and that was when we were expecting to see anywhere between 8 to 24 inches of snow up across this area. Now we're expecting it to be between 6 to 12, and that will be because the snow levels, they'll start to spike a little earlier, kind of limiting some of the snow that'll be able to pile up there, and then also helping to melt some of that snow away once we start to get some rain on top of that too. But that will be for elevations above 4,000 feet. So we told you we were going to talk about rain and also wind, and then at the same time too, we're going to talk about what's happening with our wind advisory. We have that, and that's going to be out. And yes, you can see right there, wind advisories are in place out along the coast and also for parts of northern interior from Snohomish County northward from 2 p.m. this afternoon until 8 a.m. heading into Friday morning. Now we're going to see winds anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour. We could see gusts up to maybe 55 miles per hour. So that's where we're going to have to keep an eye out for some of the strongest winds here as we head into this event. And once we head into 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, that's not to say that we're expecting things to just completely cut off with the wind. There's going to be a gradual decrease as we go later into tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening, but it is still going to be around. So let's talk about those winds. Here we are this afternoon, seeing those beginning to pick up. Now, I think for the rest of today into the first half of the night, we're looking at spots mainly over the Olympic Peninsula, and that's where you can see some of those oranges and yellows and even some of those reds popping up, indicating some of the stronger wind gusts that we can have out there. Quileute forecast model showing about 50 miles per hour by about 6 p.m. tonight. Then we go later tonight and into tomorrow, and you can start to see that's moving around parts of Puget Sound and then starting to spread out just a bit more into the day tomorrow. Seeing a lot more of those gusts closer to 15 to 30 miles per hour around Puget Sound, while the coast actually will start to see that come down a little bit. But I wanted you to keep a close eye on what's happening later tomorrow afternoon. Once we start to see the front move through, we'll see another pickup in some of those very strong winds. And I think the models might be overdoing it maybe just a little bit, especially how widespread these 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts could be. But kind of gives you a general idea that we're expecting it to really peak as we go into late tomorrow morning, early into tomorrow afternoon, and then into the evening, starting to see things come on down, and that will be late tomorrow night and heading into early Saturday. Now, one spot that will probably keep it around for a little while looks like through the Strait of Juan de Fuca, so the north coast of the Olympic Peninsula, more around areas such as Camano, Whidbey Island, getting even down closer to Everett. Expect some of those stronger wind gusts into even the earlier part of your Saturday. But it will come down gradually, and it looks like by the time we head into Saturday afternoon, strong winds, yes, but we're expecting it to come below that wind advisory criteria. Plus, we're going to see that the rain, the worst of it, will be behind us by that point. So looking at future radar, here we are. You can see those areas of rain coming back around as we go into later this afternoon. Out towards the coast is where we see some of the heaviest rain in place. Areas kind of more off and on and pretty light in nature around Puget Sound later on into the night. Now, at the same time, too, over the Olympics and the Cascades, we're starting to see that snow pick up. But as we continue on deeper into the night, over the Olympics, all that white, it disappears. The warmer air just beginning to take over there will help to pretty much cut off the snow there. And then across the Cascades, we're still going to keep it around for a little while longer here after midnight, but that will eventually start to come to an end as well as we go on into early tomorrow morning. And then the rain shadowing that you're seeing, it's that Olympic feature, the Olympic Mountains, they kind of act to block the moisture for parts from Tacoma, Seattle, and Everett. So that's where we'll see some lower amounts of rain. Not to say we're completely dry, but it definitely will limit some of the totals that we'll get there, while areas around north, south, and off towards the west really start to pile up on some of the stronger or the heavier rain amounts. And even as we head into the afternoon, you can see that still around as we head into that time. And by the time we head into tomorrow night, 9 p.m., we're starting to see things quiet on down, and we'll see those areas of rain and snow start to become less widespread, but definitely still sticking around, especially with a convergence zone heading on into Saturday, where we could see more snow up into the mountains. So let's talk amounts. We got areas out along the coast seeing anywhere between 3 to maybe 6 inches of rain through at this point now until about Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Farther north, again, we're expecting to see anywhere between 1 to 3 inches for areas across the northern interior. And then there's those areas here or parts of Central Sound that you'll have that rain shadowing kind of limit some of the rain. So we'll have between maybe a half an inch to an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter in those areas, while areas south of there, getting closer to Olympia, maybe picking up just a bit more, 1 to 3 inches expected into those parts. And then we talk about the snow. You can see that those amounts are looking to be a little higher initially with the system coming through here first into the night with the colder air still in place, around 6 to 12 inches around the passes. If you were initially driving tonight here, you probably don't want to do a lot of pass driving or heading across the state during the first part of the night because of the snow that's going to be coming down heavily. Tomorrow afternoon, you'll probably have a better chance as snow levels get up to around 7,000 feet, and anything that is falling around the passes should be in the form of liquid and fall as rain. But then we start to see those come back down again Saturday, Sunday, and into next work week. Yeah, all the way down, even below 1,000 feet. So let's first talk about pass travel here into this upcoming weekend. We're going to see some heavy snow, and we are going to see looks like multiple inches as we can get closer to a foot, maybe 2 feet from that Saturday to Sunday evening time frame. And as far as a better time to go, maybe early Saturday, that'll be your better chance, and then throughout the day on Sunday after they're able to get out there and maybe do some work on the roads with some of the snow that's expected to fall. But Saturday night, probably a time that you want to avoid doing some of that traveling. Here we go for the rest of today. If you're heading home, expect to see those showers around, especially farther north. Temperatures chilly in the mid 40s. We'll see more 40s as you go southward as well. Rain generally light here across parts of Central Sound. Redmond 46, 44 in Bremerton. More 40s as you head farther south too, with areas of rain generally light here across South Sound. Then we go across areas here across tonight into parts of Central and North Sound, pretty much everywhere, just a lot of low 40s with a few upper 30s. Everything staying safely above the freezing point, so no worries, especially in the lowlands, of anything falling in the form of snow. But you might see that here showing up later next week, that we do have it on the forecast for next Tuesday. I wanted to go ahead and just point that is not a huge concern for us right now. Expecting some limited moisture around, so anything that does fall shouldn't have any impact when it comes to travel. But later this evening and heading into the night, yes, that is going to be the time frame where we have our first alert weather day that will be in place, and on into Friday too, expecting to see the worst of the impacts around. So that's why we have the first alert weather designation for that time then and there. So that is going to be the time that you'll have to keep in mind if you are going to be out, that you have your rain gear with you. That again, if you have some leaves around some of those drains in your home or around your home, that you might want to try to clean those out if you can, and just be mindful of some of the limbs and the trees around your area, that if anything is going to fall, that it could fall with some of the stronger wind gusts coming through. We'll keep you updated here online and on TV here as we head on into the evening and through the event heading on to the day tomorrow. So make sure to check in with us so that we can give you the latest updates on the system. All right, everyone, take care, be safe, and stay dry.